So, happy 4th of July. I saw something on Facebook that my mother shared. I decided I was going to share it, but then if I shared it, nobody would really read it. So if I copied and pasted, maybe more people would read it. But ultimately, I decided I'm just going to narrate it and hope somebody listens. Because it meant a lot to me. It struck a lot of emotions. And it's very real. This was written by John Pavlovitz, July 3rd, 2018. Entitled, "Pick a Hill Worth Dying on, America." If your eyes are clear and open right now, you can see it. This is a pivot point for us, America. It is the place we collectively turn back toward our best selves, or slide into the abyss of the very worst of us. We are, in real time, crafting our shared legacy, and the world is watching to see who we will be, our children too. These are historic days, and they will be recorded. They will tell the story of this country as either the time good people crossed lines of political party, faith, tradition, and racial divide and course-corrected us out of abject disaster, or the days we all stopped giving a damn and fully consented into the darkness for good. These will be marked as the moments we succumbed to 1,000 small assaults on decency, or when we decided to stop bleeding altogether. There is no question anymore that those not deluded by supremacy or religion or self-preservation. This thing currently staring us is an abomination. It is an abandonment of empathy, a rejection of personal liberty, a human rights violation, a squandering of radiant lives. There is nothing redemptive or life-giving in it. The only question remaining is if you're okay with it. You get to answer for yourself, by your movement or your inaction. In these very seconds, you and I get to decide whether our children and grandchildren will inherit something beautiful or grotesque. It is really that simple, that elemental, and that close. This is not about waiting for God to do something, or a political party, or a social media celebrity, or some faceless people you imagine will rescue you. No, friend, there is no superhero flying in to save the day. You need to fucking save it. The way you will save it is by finding whatever it is that pulls you out of the paralyzing funk of grief and sadness and disbelief you've been in, and into the jagged trenches of passionate resistance. You save it by deciding what matters most in this life. Whether it matters enough to do more than you're doing to defend and protect it right now. In the presence of such great hatred, you are either an activist or an accomplice. The vocal opposition or a willing partner. You and I need to pick a hill worth dying on right now, and we need to ascend it without delay. We need to speak and write and work and protest and do all the things we've been waiting for someone else to do. This movement may cause friction in our families. It may bring turbulence to our marriages. It may yield collateral damage to our careers. It may cost us financially and personally. It may alienate us from our neighbors. It may push us from our churches. It may be inconvenient and uncomfortable and painful. But that is the price of liberty, and you and I need to pay it because other people paid it before us. No excuses will be good enough to the generations that follow us about why we did nothing, so we need to stop trying to find them. I don't know what matters enough to move you from complacency or indecision or selfishness or apathy. The human rights atrocities, the perversions of Christianity, the pillage of the environment, the constitutional violations, the cries of migrant children, the Supreme Court hijacking, the dismantling of healthcare, the school shootings that go ignored, the LGBTQ teenagers being harassed, the assault on women's autonomy over their bodies, the malice of our public servants, the twisting of truth, the Nazis marching in our streets, and the dumbing down of our discourse. Is it love, or equality, or compassion, or diversity, or humanity? I don't know what is worth you doing something right now, but you do. So instead of lamenting about how horrible it all is, accept the invitation to make it less horrible. Instead of looking to the sky and wondering why no one is doing anything, you do something. Step out of the cloistered place of your private despair and into a jacked up world that you can alter by showing up. Use your gifts and your influence and your breath and your hands. Fix something that is badly broken before it is broken beyond repair. This is not some fictional zombie apocalypse series you can binge watch, turn off, and walk away from into the radiant light of the day. This is flesh and blood, men and women living among you with dangerous agendas that they will not abandon unless opposed. I'm not trying to scare you. What is happening right now should scare you enough. I'm trying to wake you up and ask you to see if your heart is still beating, and then do something worthy of that gift. Whatever hill is worth dying on you, for you in this life, take it now. Affirm life, speak truth, defend the vulnerable, call out injustices, gladly brave the criticisms and the wounds you sustain in doing it, knowing that they are a small price to pay for the nation that could be if you speak, or will be if you do not. Chances are you won't actually be called to die for these causes and these people, but when you do leave this planet, you will have lived for them. That in itself will be a beautiful legacy. If you aren't finding your voice right now, don't bother worrying about it again. You won't have one much longer. Ascend the hill.